Welcome to the Quick Bytes live stream with your tech integration specialist, Scott Conway. Welcome and thank you for tuning in. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the online screen recording feature with Canva. This platform will allow you to record what you are doing on your computer while also providing narration. And this is a great tool for a teacher who wants to pre-record a lesson or a webinar or a lecture that they can then play back for the student, or they can post as an assignment, sort of like a flipped classroom style lesson. Or if they need to leave lesson plans for a substitute, this is a great way to kind of capture what you do on your computer while you narrate, and then you can provide it in a simple video file output. If you haven't any questions or feedback, feel free to reach out via the email listed on my YouTube profile. I'd love to hear from you. If you haven't already, be sure to click subscribe below so you never miss an episode. All right, we're going to cut over to Canva. Here is the Canva platform. This is a fantastic platform that is now available free to public K-12 districts. We, in my district, got on board kind of as quickly as possible. There was a little bit of time frame required to get us up and running as a K-12 district, but once we did, we fully integrated with Google Drive, Google Classroom, Google SSO for single sign-on. It's fantastic, and the best part is we get all of the paid features for free. Everything is open and available to us, which is a really nice feature set of tools and templates. It's fantastic. The tip of the iceberg is what we're going to take a look at today, and that has to do with screen recording. So let's get right into it and demonstrate how to do this. It's not very difficult. It's not very time consuming. I think the most time consuming part would be the actual lecture or lesson or whatever you're recording. That time frame will be the longest part of this process. So we're going to kind of condense this for you. But we'll start here with create a design. And then because we're creating a video output, right, we're going to go to videos. And then I want the maximum clarity possible. I'm going to choose video 1080p, and it will open a blank template. And the next step, once we get to our blank template, and you can see it's kind of nice and blank and free for us here, is come over to Uploads in our left-hand navigation menu. And then right below where it says Upload Files, you're going to see a button called Record Yourself. So we are going to go ahead and click on Record Yourself. And obviously it may ask you, you can see in the bar up here at the top, the Omni bar, that I've already given it access to my camera and microphone. And you can see me right there in the lower left-hand corner. And this is something I want to talk about because I don't normally include video of me in my podcasts or live streams, whatever you want to call them. I usually just do the vocal narration. But if for some reason you wanted to include video in your demonstration of yourself, you can. And Canva is going to turn it on by default. Now, right now, I'm just showing the camera. I'm just showing me, so if you're going to record yourself, that's great. There are a couple features up here above it. You can see you can turn the camera on, you can turn the camera off, you can do a mirror image, you can change the shape from the circle like you see it to a rectangle. You've got certain effects and filters that you can also kind of display for this. And if you don't want the camera, obviously, like I said, you could turn it off and it will create this little silhouette. Now that silhouette stays here. You cannot remove it so long as you are recording audio. And you know, I can see down here the little microphone feedback is telling me that it's picking me up. It's picking up my voice. As of right now, it's going to leave this here as vocal narration, but I've got nothing else. I'm not sharing my screen. So we'll talk about how we add that in. But for right now, I can drag this around. I can move it to kind of wherever I want. I just cannot change the shape and size of it from here. I will show you in post-production where we can kind of move this to the background. So we can hide this later on. It will not sit in front of your screen. But the point of this is to demonstrate the screen recording. So we want to be able to share our screen with this recording. So we need to do that with the settings icon in the upper right-hand corner here. And you see that right now there's no camera, but the audio mic is on. So I can choose to just do the camera of myself, right? Just record myself talking. If I want to do that, I can. Or I have the option of just doing the screen. And when I get to the screen here, it's going to pop up with a couple different options. You can see Chrome tab, window, or entire screen. And now I have multiple monitors, so you're seeing both of them. If you only have one monitor, you'll only see one. Now the Chrome tab is great if you're just specifically showing one tab in an environment and you want to include audio that might be playing from that tab. You can do that right from here. But there are some limitations with that. Again, it only shows that one tab. So if during your presentation you switch to a different tab, your viewers are still only on the tab that you selected. So you might be talking about a different tab in your browser. They won't see it. So that's the risk you run. Now, if you zoom out a little bit more and you take the window, that is every tab in that window, in that browser. But again, if something happens outside of the Chrome browser or whatever browser you're on, you may not, again, show that or display that to your viewers. So again, there's a little bit of a risk you run with choosing a window. I typically will do entire screen. And what this means is that if anything pops up outside that browser window as a pop-up message or a dialog message, a setting, something that happens during that process of presenting, you'll see it. The viewer will see it. Now, it's important to me because as I'm demonstrating things, I want the user to see the real experience. So I want to show them everything. If you don't want to, then you can control that by scaling back to either window or Chrome tab. But in this case, I'm going to choose to show everything. So I will, let's pick a window over here. I'll just go to the Chrome Web Store and use that as my demo. So you can see this screen over here, this right-hand, well, this monitor. I'm going to choose to share that. And that will put it back on the screen. Now notice the little icon, the silhouette, has gone away. So it's gone. Where'd it go? Right now I've got it set to just screen only. Remember, there was camera or there's screen. But if I want to do the screen, my actions that I take on the screen at the same time that you hear me narrate, which is what I typically do, I want to do camera and screen. So I'll turn that selection back on. We already have the screen selected, so I don't need to select it again. There I am again now in the lower right-hand corner. But again, I don't want the camera, so I'm just going to choose to turn the camera off. No camera. It leaves that silhouette in the lower right-hand corner because that's where I placed it. I can move it around, like I said, but I'm going to leave it there. Again, I'll show you post-production here that it can be moved to the back, so it's not a problem. And then you can see as I clicked on that, the settings go away. I can just toggle the settings on and off here, and I can play around with those as I need to during the setup phase. At this point, I'm ready to go. I've got my screen in the background, the one that I'm going to work on. You can see as I move over to it, here's the mouse. It's moving up and down, right? That's the screen I'm going to demonstrate from. I've got the narration on. You can visibly see that because the microphone is picking up my vocal track, and you can see it kind of displaying here in a visual sense right below the record button. At this point, I'm ready to go. So it's not much to set this up. It's just a matter of what do you want to display, what do you want to share. And then at that point, I'm ready to hit the record button. It's going to give me a little countdown. As you can see here, 3, 2, 1. And then I'm ready to start talking and moving my mouse. So I can scroll down. All the while this is recording, and you can see that I'm 6-7 seconds into this. The vocal track is getting picked up because you can see the visual on that. And as I move around, this is what it's recording. Now when I'm done, I go ahead and click the done button. Now at this point, I think it was a 15-second clip, so it's not very long, but it will at least demonstrate how to use the screen recording feature in Canva. At this point, I can play it back, and I'm going to do that right now and let you listen in on it. And then I'm ready to start talking and moving my mouse so I can scroll down. So there you go. There's the preview of that. At this point, if I don't like it, something's really wrong, I can hit delete, trash it, start all over again. But I'm good with this, so I'm going to click Save and Exit in the upper right-hand corner. And now it will render back here in Canva. Now there's not a whole lot I can do here from an editing standpoint, especially on the video side. This is not necessarily one of your best video editing software. There's a few things you can do, such as trimming the beginning or the end, but as far as internal trims, I don't think you're going to necessarily be able to do that. So there's a little bit that you can do within Canva, but from a standpoint of me wanting to pre-record a lesson or a lecture or a webinar, this is probably going to be just fine. And you can see here I've got the video element in the center, not even full screen just yet, in the center, and then I also have the audio track here separately in the lower right, like it was when we first saw it. Now you can see also that it's behind the video. You see how as I move my mouse back and forth, it's layered behind. That's perfect. You don't need to see that silhouette. So what we're going to do is we're going to maximize the video and cover that over. I'm going to drag this to the top left corner, and then I'm going to choose my drag point from the lower right and drag this down and over it. And there it is. So now I've got this full video screen. The audio track is in the background. You can still see it here when I hover over that area. Okay, you can see the start here, start there, start the video, start the audio. But if you choose to preview the entire video clip with the audio narration, you're going to do that from the start menu down here where you can see the overall rendering. And I'll do that and I'll play that for you. And then I'm ready to start talking and moving my mouse so I can. So again, there you go. You can tell that it is functioning correctly. I've got the entire screen that I wanted to demonstrate, and I'm moving, and then my audio narration is still playing in the background. So that is perfect. That's exactly where we want it to be. Now at this point, I'm all set. I want to offload this. I go up to the share button in the upper right hand corner in Canva, and you can see I got a couple different options here, one of which is Google Classroom. So if the integration is turned on and available to you, you can push this out to Google Classroom as an assignment, just like you could any other Canva element that you create or product that you create. So that is an integration that does need to be turned on and configured so that you can send and push it right over to Google Classroom, sort of like a flipped classroom. You might send this out as an assignment. Hey, watch this, and then we're going to discuss it the next day in class. Okay. There are some other ways you can push this video file out. There's a full list that you can click, say full list, and you can scroll down and you can see. But I think for most teachers that Google Classroom and maybe the Google Drive connection is going to be enough for you. And there's Google Classroom down there for you. But the one that I really care about the most, notice there is no YouTube, right? And I want to get this into YouTube. Then the one I'm going to care about most is this download button. So I would go ahead and click download. And at that point, it's going to render the suggested file format. In this case, because it's a video, the best file format would be an MP4 video. And you could see as well that it's in 1080p high definition format. Perfect. That's exactly what I want. I want it to be as crisp as possible. And at this point, I'm just going to click download. It'll download locally. I can save it. I can then re-upload it to Drive. I can re-upload it to YouTube. I can put this wherever you can put a video file. Again, if you choose not to do the download, you could also connect directly to Google Drive or other platforms, Google Classroom specifically as well, if you have that integration available and you've allowed it. Okay, so those are some key considerations. So that is under the share button. At that point, I'm all set. I've got my video file. I can upload it wherever I want, post it however I want, and my users will be able to see it and work with it. So it's not a very difficult feature in the Canva arena. It's very quick, very easy to get it set up. Again, you would start this by creating a new project, and it would want to be a video project, because when you get in there and you click on uploads in the left hand margin here, you'll see the option to record yourself. And then after a couple quick settings of how you want to record yourself, you're off and running. So not a very difficult task at all, and something that is a full feature set within Canva. And that's a wrap for today's episode. Thanks so much for joining us. If you haven't already, be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes. Until next time, stay curious, keep exploring, and never stop learning.